Hey everyone, sorry about that. Stream had a bit of a hiccup, so had to restart it. Hopefully, those of you who were in it before find this new one and yeah, can continue having some fun. Let's see. All right, that seems to be back working again. All right. I think I'll leave this one like that and make a more complex one where we're displaying the number on the screen and perhaps set a goal for how many detections we want to have. So detect, want to call it so final or something. While I think of a better name. see here. This is what I'm looking for. So that's obviously not that one. What? Probably this guy needs to be typecast, maybe. Be a little more specific. Hey Ganesh, how are you? This is not. Oh man, getting my C++ and my Python confused. I briefly saw it flashing there. Not too bad, man. Not too bad. Can't complain. Another day, another opportunity to play around with some software and hardware and chat with some of you. So yeah, perfect day. Glad to hear you're doing well also. Alright, so that kind of works. But I need to display it at all times. So I cannot do it here. But right here. right? Come on. Need to pay a little more attention here. Hey Ali, how are you, man? I was just telling our friend Ganesh that not too bad, man. Another day out here tinkering with some electronics and a little bit of software, inching away on this project, so not too bad. How about yourself? You guys get to see the behind the scenes of this thing, so I'll probably get a sense of the application I'm coming up with, but I'm still playing it discreetly to do the big reveal in maybe a few days, because this is for the video, as Ali and a few others know, for this effort called Element 14%, and if you want to know more details, I can repeat it for the 100th time. But that won't be released for another 3 weeks, I think. Like, I'll turn it in this weekend, and they have a schedule, right, with a bunch of people. So the video itself won't come out for 3 weeks. And I'll probably, in one of the streams, just do a little sneak peek preview as to what that's looking like once it's finalized. But anyway, you get to see it here first, just the development part. Yeah, so I'm trying to do some detection like that. That is kind of working. It's interesting, it works well, like if you do it horizontal like that, not so well. If you do it vertically, I get a lot more false positives. But again, it's for a very simple project. And if I had won the lottery and didn't need to do anything else, I would sink a month into this project. But it's already been like 3 days, and I'm anxious to finish it, make the darn video, and move on to the next one. Particularly because this one is, parts of it will be going on the channel, like how to get started with a RealSense camera. But I want to do fun projects for our community. But yeah, your friend here has gotta pay the bills, so yeah, gotta use my time somehow. But anyway, so my cheap solution will be to align the camera so that the motion that is tracking is in that direction. Anyway. 6, 7, 8, 9. Nice. That's kind of funny because the detection works even if the refresh rate of the display is not working. The processing, it's happening, right? Like if I do it really quickly like this, that wasn't quick at all. If I do it quickly like, come on, do it like before. No, that wasn't the field view. Anyway, there are times that we can even see the glove in front of the camera and the detection does happen, so glad the code is somewhat robust. Hey Mustafa, I use a variety of cameras. I've used something, I'll put it on the screen so you can see it a little bit better. Pull up my workbench, and right now I'm using an Intel RealSense D435, which is 2 cameras in one. It's a color camera and a depth camera, so measures distance to objects. And I've used, that's on one end, which is, the highest, it's a pretty high-end camera. But I've also used things like this. It's a cheapy, $5 USB cam. So all the cameras, as I always say, a tool, for the job at hand. And I've also used the native camera for the Raspberry Pi, the one that plugs into the camera port, not to USB. So yeah. So Ali, to get to your question, for background subtraction, again, I want to keep it super simple. So I just grab the first frame and subtract it from the first frame when the program starts running, and then just subtract it from everything else. And that seems to work quite okay. Right now, you see the screen, which I'm going to switch to right now. There is some spurious detection, and what's gonna help me is that I have control over the background. So I'm gonna mount the camera on the ceiling and it's gonna be pointed downward. So right now I'm just using color to do the detection, and I'm tracking a white blob. So yeah, it's getting confused. If I confuse the color, then I can get rid of it. But you can see that when I put my hand in front of these bright lights that I have going on, then it does detect it. But if I show my natural skin color, my brown skin color, it doesn't detect it. And then it's getting confused with the lights I have behind me and a little AC cooler. But even then, it's pretty good. It only does the detection when this thing is in front. And I'm doing some filtering by blob size as well. So, but right now, I see. So I'm controlling the background subtraction. That's number one. And then for detection, I'm not doing gesture. Although I got derailed and saw some interesting ways of doing that. Same principle I'm using, right? I'm just detecting a contour around the blob. I'm not even smoothing it, but I could do it. And then you draw a convex hole, right? So with some restrictions, you draw a polygon around your contour of the object. And it's kind of interesting. I saw a person using those constraints to detect, how many fingers you're holding up, and his argument was, once you draw the contour, it's fairly easy, and I can point you guys to the video. But then things like, it was getting confused with this area, right? Like if you imagine the contour going from your pinky to the base of your hand, and say, but that, to tell it that wasn't a finger, he used the angle of the contour. So this is a greater than 90-degree angle, whereas where the fingers are, it's less than 90 degrees. Same without here. This is greater than 90 degrees. This is less than 90 degrees. People get pretty creative for doing fun things, for doing hand detection, gesture detection. Yeah, no, I could do many different things for the background subtraction. And what's more important, I can use the depth information, right? I have a 4-channel, I have the color space, regular RGB, and I have information for depth. And even if color changes due to lighting, depth is more reliable, right? So I have essentially a Kinect, and I should be using just all the information, but I think I'm just gonna do computer vision for now and revisit this project in a little while and use the depth information for our channel. So yeah, but just for this thing that I gotta turn in a couple of days, I'll keep it as a color based detection. But yeah, no, all sorts of fun stuff. I just, again, that's as usual my approach, just something basic that just works, and then iterate as time goes on. That's the plan. And then I'm actually, speaking of games, I'm gonna gamify this now. I want to set goals for, you saw on the screen right now, I'm just drawing the number of the counts that I have. So now I want to gamify it. I want to display a clock so that you need to get to a certain amount, to a certain count within, before the clock expires. And yeah, and just change colors, right? Like if you hit the goal, or do a little animation. So I'm switching over to use Pygame to just, or I guess I can still get creative with OpenCV and just do overlays, just do little PNGs or whatever. Oh man, I haven't done that in forever, and I know it's painful. Like if I want to do overlays on top of the image, but shouldn't be too bad. As opposed to just using Pygame, just because, which is just the easiest way I know how to draw stuff on a screen. But I've just generated images that I want to overlay, and the clock I can do no problem. I'll draw it as text, and then yeah. Nice, glad to hear that. Again, people find it useful, and that's always a motivation. Just keep it simple, because then you have to, as I always say, cut through and try to find the specific part that you want to get started. I always try to make one that is super general and at least boilerplate code for most people, and then hopefully get the time to come back to it and use that boilerplate to make something a little bit more interesting. And then spoiler alert, I never have the time to come back to things, but I want to think that there will be a time when I will have that time to come back, but yeah, not right now. I'll definitely make a couple of videos like how to get started with the Intel RealSense and the Raspberry Pi 4 for sure. It was just such a pain that I don't want people to go through that same experience. And then, yeah, just do something a little different than the stuff that I'm doing for the Element 14 channel. Hey Philip, how are you, man? Glad to see you back with us. Even I am back because I started a stream and it lasted a whole 45 minutes when all of a sudden it just got disconnected randomly. I have good internet connection. It was on the YouTube side. It started stalling, so I had to restart it. So welcome back to round 2 of this stream. All right. So now I want to display time. Not the current time, but a timer. What time? and make this guy white. And see. Thanks, Ali. I since I'm streaming almost daily, I felt bad playing the same music over and over. I, you know, then I promised a few folks on the last stream that I would find a little different music, so I can show you my playlist. But this is all from the YouTube free audio library, so no non-copyrighted. Yeah, I started searching for like top songs of each year because the library itself is it's a pain. So I made 4 different ones with a few songs. I have classical guitar, classical piano, the one that I've been playing the entire week, which is folk and country music from out here in the US. And this one was just the top YouTube songs of 2020. But the way to search for those would be YouTube audio library. So I think, yeah, if you're just signed in, then you can just access it. I don't necessarily think you need to be a content creator, and you can just, if I can send you screenshots of this playlist on Discord, and you can look for them but you can also explore this. And then what I did is, yeah, you can filter, but it's not great. I just went on YouTube itself and queried for top songs on the YouTube audio library, and yeah, spend a little bit of time doing that. Yeah, and I have to worry about it since I started last year doing this YouTube thing quite regularly. And before then, I've heard all the horror stories of people with huge channels getting demonetized and stuff like that. So I always try to play it safe. And I don't have a huge channel, but the little that I've built, it'd be sad for it to get in trouble because of an oversight. Glad I could find music that doesn't make people want to run away or just mute their computers completely, and also that is no copyright on it. All right. So then I'll start. Say I'll change this later, but say I just want a timer of 10 seconds. Actually, I can just do now and subtract, can I? A lot easier. Timer, let's just time that now. And true. So if I say timer equals time.now minus timer, and I think this will be a float, right? Or will it be UTC? Yeah. Hi. Thank you, Google. Time.time. So datetime.now and time.time. Let's try it. Yeah, it is. Can I just ask for it? An integer. Yeah, second. Thank you. Well, we're just round. obviously not what I want. What? Python 3. What in the world? Why am I getting two values printed? This is question here. Probably due to the formatting. Is it? Yeah, it's so odd. Obviously, it's in one single print instance. I wonder why this is the case. Right? I don't have another print statement. Nope. That's kind of interesting. One iteration it prints this, another it prints this. I see, so it updates. Something silly. No, let's see. make it gray. Looks like that's in the background. Yeah, this is 800 pixels wide, so I can put it a little closer to the middle. Call it 380. A little too far. But this was 800, that's could be wrong. Yeah, should be. Oh, maybe with the scaling at all of the VNC, but figure that out later. Leave it out. 800 maybe. Figuring out it'll look nicely. No idea what I did. Just an extra parenthesis. It's kind of big. Anything before, so I'm just gonna move it. too tired to do this in my head. Get a better red as well. A maroon. 85, 14, 40. Total. Not the best looking colors, I'm not gonna lie. Sure. 255, 153, 153, or 102, 102. Hey Jay, how you doing, man? Glad to see you. I'll answer for myself. I'm doing okay. Having some fun still with a little computer vision project. And this is, I think we're entering hour 3 of the stream, so people have come and gone as usual. Everybody seems in good spirits. If I may be the spokesperson for the group. How about yourself? Yeah, no, I was gonna tell you, I was gonna ask you if it's good morning or good night, because I know you're on the other side of the country. So yeah, you're either going to bed or getting up for an early start for whatever reason. So, all right, man, get some rest, and thanks for stopping by and just saying hello. That's always awesome and welcome. Thank you. So you, I see. So you usually go to bed at 10 a.m. That's a pretty wild schedule, man. I'm gonna have to say. Uh, I shouldn't talk. I mean, I usually do regular hours, although my sleeping cycle is shorter than the average. I sleep like 5, 6 hours, and I'm okay. And usually, I'll sleep at night, but now with the lockdown, I try to go running every day. So with the lockdown, I don't want to, go onto the street if people are on the sidewalk. So I've been going for runs at like 4 a.m. Nobody on the street. I live in a sort of not super busy part of the city. It's in Pasadena, but there's still a fair number of lights, traffic lights. So running at 4 a.m., you don't have to stop at the traffic lights. But yeah, so I've shifted my schedule. So I'll go to bed after the run. So I'll sleep from like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. till like the time that you're going to bed right now, till 11 noon, and start my day that way. It's kind of funny because I'm passed out and my wife is working on the computer. She has a regular hours job, so kind of interesting. 10 to 2, maybe 3, yeah. So you're also on the shorter sleep cycle. Nice. But now with the medication, you just extend that. Will you go all the way from 6 a.m. to 2, or is you shifted sort of earlier? You'll wake up like at 10, 11 now. Hi, Mary. How you doing? Having some fun with my boy Jay here. Talking about electronics and sleep schedules. That's awesome. I see. Nice. In my case, we're a little bit of the opposite. She goes to bed early, my wife, at 9, 10 p.m. She'll stay up till midnight, but then, that's when I get my second wind, and most of my work I'll do, yeah, at the wee hours of the evening. All right, Jay, you get some good night rest, and then I'll be seeing you on one of the streams for sure. Both of you have a good night, you and Mary. And I don't understand why colors are so messed up on this thing. Trying to get something that looks relatively nice, and this definitely doesn't look like regular colors, so it'll be a little bit of trial and error. But anyway, it's a little bit better. We make it a little more blue still. And then this guy, I definitely want to make it lighter. Maybe 185. Might blend with the background for this one, but it'll have a dark background in the final project, in the final setup. Not bad. All right. And then we gotta fix that orange one. That magenta is super bright. So, let me lower that. And then this is way too orange, even though it has no red. Oh man. Want to make it blue. 50 and 210 maybe. I don't want a space, and then just make this guy blue. Not far. Pixels, and then I think this color is probably not RGB. Let's see how this one looks. No. Yep. All right, so it's red is the last one. White. Blue is probably the first one, so it's BGR. Interesting. After this, now BGR. Photo and blue, and then I want this guy to be red. Perfect. All right. In that. Good enough. Alright, so now need to worry about the gaming part of this. So this is the parameter that will call goal. Then goal. What's path? Hey Colin, good morning. Thanks for stopping by the stream, man. This is, I think, the start of hour 3 of me battling against some computer vision and stuff, so people have come and gone. And yeah, how about yourself? What are you up to? yeah, I had to restart the stream. I think about a third through it. Just all of a sudden Streamlabs got disconnected. So. Nice. All right. Sounds like a fun project breaking out of the, breaking out of this. For me, I've picked a few things to do around the house as well to because they need to get done and there's no better time than right now, I would say, since with the excuse that we cannot go outside, then might as well put our time inside to good use. So definitely enjoy the break from just the regular of electronics and 3D printing and all that good stuff for doing just I don't want to call it simpler, but just different type of projects. Oh, there you go. So you're combining both worlds. Nice. That's that's the way to do it. But every now and again, yeah, I'll need a project where I'm sure the thought pops into my head of thinking, well, what if I were to bring in the electronics? Like that almost always happens, but sometimes it's just like hanging a picture on the wall. It's like, oh man, I always have to take the measures by hand, so what kind of contraption I can build to make this a little bit easier, measuring the 56 inches from the ground, etc. So, but yeah, sometimes I just want to hang the thing up. It's kind of it's kind of funny. But yeah, no, usually my projects are not necessarily this involved, but this one is for one of these, company channels that have recruited a bunch of makers to work on projects. So they're footing the bill and gives me a chance to spend a few more hours than I normally would on a project. Hey NLab, how you doing? The first time I've seen a trademark username. So, kind of interesting. All right. So I want a goal of 20. And if not, I want to reset it. And that's going to be depending on the amount of time that I need to reach that goal. So I'll go down to my timer. Make a comment here first. So do a little bit of pseudocode. So if timer expires, then reset timer, display failed message. And then reset goal. All right. Then the other one I need to be aware of is if goal is reached, then same deal, right? But with a success message. Succeeded. So then if timer difference is greater than timer goal, then change the start and yeah, so then put the string here. Failed. And somewhere in the middle. Middle should be 300 and maybe 200. Then big old red letters. Probably change that after, not to be too mean. And then I want to reset the goal. So goal equals, and then I guess it would be goal P and then goal T. Hey Brian, how you doing? It depends. So the proper answer is both. But it's 3:30 in the morning. I've shifted my schedule. I was saying before that I try to go running every day, and to avoid the whole jumping on the street, to avoid people who are walking on the sidewalk without mask or having to wear a mask for exercising. I've been going like at 4 a.m. So I'll probably end the stream in a little, well, once I get a few more things done, and just go out for a run, and then I'll go to sleep in the morning time. So I've shifted my schedule that way. I'm usually a night owl, but I won't pull all-nighters, but now I just get my sleep in the early morning. So yeah, no, the boss, Mr. Locke, is in the house. So yeah, I feel honored. And how about you, Brian? What are you working on? I know from Colin, he's kind of funny. We're chatting how he has a DIY project for doing stuff for his kids' playhouse, and I was like, yeah, I from time to time I like to have those kind of projects around the house where you're not doing anything involving electronics and programming, just not often, but every blue moon kind of thing. And he's like, oh, that's good for you, buddy, but I'm definitely putting some ESP8266s in my kids' playhouse. So I was like, well, tip of the hat to you, Colin. I see. That's yeah. I even during college, I always kept regular sleeping hours. I would always go to bed like 3, 4 a.m. Grad school, same deal. But then I started, this whole self-employedness, and yeah, I get a lot done during the night. So I'll start like shifting more and more towards the early morning. But I whether it sound I do work my butt off. Let's say, I play tennis with someone who has a regular schedule, so we'll go play in the morning. So I gotta adjust so that I'm not a zombie if I do need to do some errands in the morning. So what I was saying is that I'm not leaving the retired life that I would like to, or semi-retired. I'm getting there, but still gotta put in quite a few hours. So anyway, just saying that I gotta go play tennis and such might portray me in a different light. But yeah, Brian, speaking of making some sort of jump in your career, man, we're all waiting until you make the leap of faith and just embrace being the boss fully, and being Brian Locke, TM, LLC, and yeah, doing your YouTube and electronics full time. So no need to like reveal any plans or whatnot, but I've seen the growth, so just expecting when the day comes. Be a link, blah. Nice. All right, clever. But then I guess you're working regular hours for your day job, and then do the side gig, at least at this point, on the evenings and weekends. Yeah, no, I feel you on that one. The whole adding a few zeros. Particularly right now, I have a little bit more leeway since I don't have, the family consists of 2 people. But yeah, we're hoping to have kids in the necessarily a near future, but somewhat near future, or at least start trying and see what happens. So yeah, I wouldn't. Luckily, I've been doing this for 6 years now, but yeah, I wouldn't jump ship if more responsibilities were involved. Yeah. Exactly. I'm still waiting for your day job to send you to the West Coast of the United States. I remember you tweeted something like you were going to Boston or something like that. Like, man, send him to LA. Go you know, have a coffee or something and discuss plans for messing with BitLooney somehow. Alright. So the whole traveling, you mean? The whole that it's becoming a thing of the past? Or the messing with BitLooney. Don't get me scared here. Yeah, exactly. As long as we're on the same page in that regard. um, yeah, no, like Laguna Beach, all in that whole Orange County area. That's where I went to school. Like when I went to just college, it was in that area. So, you know, during the weekend, I'll get invited by some friends to. It's a really nice neighborhood, Laguna Beach, Newport Beach. All those beachy Southern California areas are great. So, yeah. Remember those days fondly, for particularly for a college student in a new country, right? It's a great area to be in. And then I moved to Pasadena, which is a suburb north of LA. That's south of LA, and the beaches we were talking about. And different landscapes. Still, I like it a lot. I live where I usually go to school, so I went to college back in Orange County, where those beaches are, and then I went to grad school here in Pasadena, so I had to move. And it's like, no, I'm done. So trying to stay around, but even before I saw Brian's awesome pictures of his new house, I've been slowly pushing to get out of. Like right now, we're close to the downtown of Pasadena, which is still very residential, but I want to move to somewhere where I have more space and it's more secluded, more quiet. So when I saw Brian's awesome pictures of his move, I was, positive way, a little bit jealous. Oh man, want something like that? I see. So the travel part is a thing of the past. I don't know how much you enjoyed traveling for your work. And even if you did, right, I'd imagine with having a family, not even discussing the current situation with traveling, but even having kids and stuff, probably you want to, not necessarily be traveling all that much. I guess it varies by person, but that would be my guess. I see. Yeah, I got an opportunity to travel quite a bit in grad school, and yeah, that was interesting, right? Just you get to go to places and it's on somebody else's dime, and if those places are interesting, then it's like, yeah, all for it. I love traveling even if it's in my own dime, on my own dime, but if I can, in addition to that, have more travel, then yeah. Because even in grad school, right, like it's not quite like work, but it is work because you're usually going to conferences and you got to present something, go to talks, but then you take a day or two to explore and get to know somewhere where it's probably, usually it's nice, and you might not have gone there, in your life if it wasn't for that opportunity. Say, not necessarily the country, right, but say a conference takes me to whether Cologne in Germany, or a city that I want to go to Germany on my own, but perhaps not the cities that I've been to for conferences and such. I see. So also, I'm on that same boat, right, and trying to save a little bit for a house, so I know how that's like. And again, if work provides you with that opportunity, right? You can still save the money and get your travel on. Same for you, Colin. Your traveling days are behind you. I see. Also due to family responsibilities, or what's the reasoning there of sort of dialing it down for the travel? Oh wow, 2014, that's a while back. And an interesting choice of destination. That's awesome, actually. Hey Harsh, how are you? Generate. It's and run end, is it? Random number or integer in Python. Oh, random. There we go. You went to Germany for your honeymoon with your eldest daughter, or is it? Yeah, I think it's like the eldest is your daughter, right? The one that helps you do the packing, which I always chuckle about. Nice, Germany. Um, I guess London seems that it would be a stone throw away and relatively easy for you, but maybe that's not the case. That's just me being ignorant. It's kind of funny that YouTube didn't allow that message to pop up right away. Yeah, and in terms of the genders, that's what I recalled, but yeah, doubted myself for a second. Or your last proper travel was in '09? Man, that's a while back. Yeah, but that's still very sparse, Colin. Not necessarily a just an observation. Don't take my surprise as as an indication of something negative. So yeah, London about an hour flight, and yeah, Germany also pretty close. I think so. I think we, you know, for different reasons we've discussed this, but my wife is of Irish descent. O'Farrell, it's her last name, but Argentine, born in the U.S., spent a whole 3 months here, and then went back to Argentina, grew up there. So an Argentine for the most part, but it's on. I don't think she's ever been to Ireland, and it's pretty high on her bucket list. And for me, I want to see the awesome cliffs. So, yeah, it's and see what are the countryside. Maybe have a few pints in Dublin, but it's very high on our next set of travel. So you have also a beautiful country to roam around and explore without the same. It goes the same way with the US. We've gotten more into the outdoors, particularly here in California, where the weather year round is pretty nice. So we've gotten more into the domestic traveling, but we do try to, for as long as we can, get out and at least do one big trip a year. But as I was saying before, with the whole saving for moving to a house, that needs to be balanced out, and the fact that my wife and I, we don't have any family here. We always have to travel south every year, usually during for the holidays to be with our family. So that adds just travel every single year. Brian, yeah, I'm counting on pinging you to get my scoop on or where to visit. Yeah, I'll post it on the Discord. I'll open a new channel on the BLock server, and it's like, hey, rate Brian 20 whatever 21, hopefully 22. Like, good old raid on the boss. That's awesome, man. Thank you. Same, right? And kind of, I don't know why. As I grow older, I get more and more introverted, become more of an introvert. Because I guess we didn't have this rapport that we have right now. But I knew a few of you were coming to SuperCon last year. I think with Brian, it's the main person I talked to from the very beginning or from a while back. But everyone else I was aware of, and from time to time I would try to interact on Twitter. But up until recently, through Discord mostly, I started chatting more and getting to know some of you, and for you guys to know me as well. So if we had that before, I would have definitely gotten my butt out of the house, because where the SuperCon happens for Hackaday, that's 4 blocks from my house. And I usually go there, or used to go there, to use their machines and all that. So I'm good friends with them. Probably would have asked to just get in for free, because I don't necessarily enjoy those types of events, but I do enjoy like chatting with fellow makers and people who seem cool, at least digitally. So I it's a shame that when people actually came over and we were still in that sort of pre-get to know area. But no, dude, so one thing, Brian, that you're the boss of is in PR, in public relations. I think you brought, others have been involved, and not to discredit anyone, but you've been a little bit of the glue that's made this community come together and sort of stay together. So yeah, good on you, man. So, cheers and thanks, because it's a bunch of folks doing the same thing, and after seeing what came out of those initial efforts that you put in, and perhaps someone else, seeing what that's become, I think you have to say that it was worth it, or you have to think that it was worth it. Yeah, exactly. I had that same reaction with BitLooney once I saw him, how he just acts normally. But yeah, he seemed a little odd, like really knowledgeable and into his crazy electronics projects, and I don't know how much interest he really had in becoming a YouTuber, blah blah. I think probably he stumbled onto that success. Like, hey, I enjoy making projects, I enjoy the electronics. I want to hear it from him, so I'll ask him at some point, when did he realize that he wanted to become a content creator, maker creator. Yeah, no, man. Likewise, and in terms of hanging out, I do enjoy it, but the energy that's required to get strangers to participate and become not strangers, I don't have that. So that's where I think you're the boss, right, of having that extra energy. Is like, hey, what's the worst that could happen? Yeah. Bringing people into, whether it's Discord and leaving it, right, like that's how I got involved. You said, hey, we have this group, if you want to come, then that's fine. If not, then that's fine too. That's kind of interesting, huh? I would have guessed that you're the same. You have that same personality digitally that you do in real life, and that's why it was so easy. But it's kind of funny that that's not necessarily the case. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is challenging. But yeah, I guess one thing that's easy though, it's making the transition from digital online. The few people I've met digitally first, and I transitioned to knowing online, knowing in real life, and that transition is easy. But I agree, like having the same persona that you have digitally with, with strangers, applying that to strangers in real life, that gets a little tricky. Nice. That's that's interesting, uh, Mr. Locke. I figure that every Irish person comes with a built-in behavior of just not hating groups where they don't know people. Um, right? Yeah. I've heard the great stories of just going to a random pub in Dublin, or I guess people talk about Dublin because they probably don't know many other cities, and capitals are usually people are a little bit more uptight, but or capitals and big cities. But anyway, you pop into a random pub and everybody welcomes you, and there's this whole charm and friendliness for the Irish people. And this is not necessarily talking with a bunch of people who do not know what they're talking about. One of my co-workers, after I finished grad school, she's of Irish descent, and her parents had a pub in Dublin, and the kind of pub that they lived, the apartment was above the actual pub, so they lived, you know, right by their work or whatever. And she would sort of tell me the stories of what to expect. Uh, but again, it's a huge generalization, and she would make disclaimers, obviously. With everywhere, people are different. Oh man, yeah, yeah. Social gatherings, and I'm on the introvert side. Like once I get to know someone, I come out of my shell, and I hope I behave normally, and I'm a bit of a clown. I joke around, but if I don't know anyone, I'll be like very very shy, introverted. Yeah, I guess alcohol helps with the whole charm and friendliness. Nice. Yeah, no, it seemed that that was a super super fun trip for you, Brian. I think you like pulled like an all-nighter trying to finish something, if I recall correctly, or whatever, and somebody had to like babysit you. I don't know if it was Dave Darko or someone like that. Maybe I'm getting the people confused, but that's my recollection. The black sheep in NYC. I'll make a note of it. Galway. All right. Yeah, no, always big cities, major metropolitan areas, and you get a little different experience. Yeah, you had to be babysit. Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw a few people on Twitter just finishing projects up until the last minute. So didn't know if that was your case. Yeah. Oh man, the joys of, I guess it's not necessarily procrastination, right? Particularly, you know, in your case, that you're balancing a whole bunch of things with regular work life and irregular work life, right? Because you do take the content creation and the, you know, trinket creation pretty seriously. So yeah, balancing all that out, it's, can imagine it becomes challenging. But it sounds like you guys had a great time. Was that Maker Faire Berlin or something like that? Maker Faire Hanover. Nice. And yeah, again, you know, when things open back up, I'll try to see of making it out there. Right now, flights to Europe from LA are very, very inexpensive. I went last year to visit a friend in Barcelona. It was less than 400 US dollars, which is incredibly cheap, at least for price rates out here. So can't imagine it being that much different. But I can always go visit my friend and then, yeah, hop over with one of those internal flights where all you're allowed to wear is a backpack, but it's super cheap. So, yeah, no, it's I was surprised, and I was checking it this year. I want to go like every year. This is my best friend from growing up, and he's now living in Barcelona. So yes, I was like, I'm visiting you, and we're gonna go watch Messi. Uh, Took him to see. He hadn't been to Camp Nou, and he's been living in the city for 5 years. So I had to take him twice. Last year we went to watch a match against Atletico Madrid, and then I might have told you about it already. And then the Champions League match against Manchester United. Not too shabby. Yeah, exactly. It's like, screw my friend. I'm just here to see Messi. But can I stay at your house so I save a little money on accommodations? Hey Rudolph, how are you? Thanks for stopping by. Ah man, it's 4 a.m. out here in Pasadena, California. So my tongue starts getting a little tight after a full day. But nice to see you again back on the stream. I know you stopped by a couple of days ago as I was, you know, closing things down, but should be around for a little longer. So welcome. Nice. And that would be in the evening, I would imagine, midnight. So, time. I don't know what city you're in, but okay. Oh, middle of the day. Look at that. Obviously, you're different part of the country, but wanted to get a rough estimate at least for if it was day or night. Yeah, Pretoria, nice. That's another. I was talking before with my friend Brian and Colin about travel plans and South Africa. It's on my bucket list of places to go to. I think I would combine it perhaps with, you know, New Zealand, Australia, right? If I'm making the trek over, might as well touch a few parts. But definitely South Africa is up there. Had a really good South African friend in grad school, so yeah, showed me a bunch of photos. I was like, man, it's a beautiful country. I see. Was it just a short stopover there, Colin? That you didn't get a chance to look at it? I see. So, as we were talking about before, for work, yeah, man, that's not a bad destination to be sent to for work. Most exotic travel. Yeah, I guess you were saying Paris, I guess, for your 40th. Yeah, that's great travel, but I wouldn't call it exotic, right? Definitely, I have done a little bit of traveling just lately after I finished grad school, and yeah, but during, yeah, for work, for grad school, was the most exotic I've ever done in my life. And it was a couple of trips to Spain, and that was exotic for me, even though in the big scheme of things it's not exotic. Salamanca and Barcelona, luckily. But it was exotic for me. Never traveled much growing up. And then, yeah, another conference in Japan. But then, once started my business, the first few years were rough, but after a while, then, yeah, again, having a 2-income household also helps. And started traveling a little bit. So went to Japan again and have done a few exotic things. For my honeymoon, just this relatively recently, we ended up going to Alaska, and that was a fun trip. That was on my bucket list. Going to freeze my butt off in Alaska, so I can cross that off. But I want to go back pretty badly, and also watch the Northern Lights. Yeah, I can cross that off. Nice, yeah. I enjoyed Japan very much. For the conference, I went to Osaka and Kyoto, and then when I went with my now wife, girlfriend at the time, we did Tokyo and Kyoto once again. Nara, which is again a little bit north. Definitely want to go back. Because, man, if we don't play the lottery, but in the hypothetical scenario of winning the lottery, we would go back every year. We very much enjoy, the food, the sights. It's an awesome country. The people, even though you don't, at least for me, I don't interact with them very much when people are so seemingly by the book, that it makes for a very, very pleasurable experience, at least for me. So let me see. So the Cape region, the winelands, you're telling me, Rudolph? I see. So you travel quite a bit for work? Yeah, we were with Colin and Brian. We were chatting a little bit about it. How it gives us a good opportunity if you enjoy traveling and your work sends you places, and that's a really good match. Norway a few times. That's another one that not necessarily super high up in my bucket list, but the Scandinavian region, Denmark, Sweden. It, I'm curious about it. And there's some, again, I've seen some incredible deals to go to Iceland. So that's actually super high on my list. But now, you know, probably hand in hand with that, a lot of people are just going to Iceland. A lot of our, you know, Gen Z or stereotypical Instagrammer type generation. So, which is probably great for the economy of the country, but not so great if you just want to enjoy the sites without it being overly crowded. But it was about 99 US dollars to, you know, direct flight to Iceland once a week. They were doing it. I think it was through Norwegian Air. So. Wow, so that's a lot of places. My friend Rudolph. That's awesome. What line of work is it, if you don't mind me asking? That surprisingly hasn't taken you to the Scandinavian regions. So I take it that the line of work is climate dependent based on all the countries you listed. Maybe it's just a wild guess. Probably talking out of my rear end. Aerospace and defense. I see. Nice. But not so much climate dependent, right? They gotta put bases pretty much everywhere. But yeah, there are fewer bases away from the equator. If that's where you go for travels for companies and such. When I say completely away from the equator and the tropics is what I mean. I don't know if that was clear. Ooh. Think. Brian, if you're still around, I'm going to ping you. Forgot to ask you about your uncle. This whole thing about Rudolph working in aerospace and defense reminded me that I think I was closing down the stream, and Brian, you had mentioned that you had an uncle at the same workplace of my wife. So at some point I'll ping you about it. Oh, I see. Nice. Yeah, it lingered on my mind um, for since that chat, and I always forget. Like, I just wanted to ask on Discord, hey, does he still work there? Like, come visit him, dude. You can stay at the house. We got an extra room. But yeah, it's a. I see. So that was my next question. If what had brought him over, or if he was just for whatever reason, grew up in the U.S. or something like that. So, cool. Oh yeah, no, it was more that I forgot, but yeah, thanks. Appreciate the offer. Likewise, I always tell you, now with Discord, right, it's a lot easier, but on Twitter, yeah, if you had any questions for the whole Amazon thing or whatever, to ping me whenever. Oh, I see. Is that where he went to school? Like grad school or something? And then got a position at JPL? What? 15 years ago? Thanks, Rudolph. I will, and as you can see, you know, it's both coding and chatting. It's always fun. Thanks for stopping by, man. All right, I'll see you in the next one. I see. But man, maybe I met him. Like if he was in school 15 years ago, I started my I guess I was a research visitor for a year in 2007, 2008. And then I started my PhD in, no, sorry, so 2008, 2009, and then I started my PhD in 2009. So maybe I've seen another, yeah, that's what I figured, because if he was my age, right, or something, or close to my age, even if it's like 5 years older, he'd be super young for an uncle, which happens. I'm not saying, you know, implying anything, but I see. Yeah, that's what I imagined. But like I said, it happens. Maybe kind of interesting. I did work at insert name here for just as an intern. Like I was doing a project at Caltech and then going up there for working on projects for like 4 months, and that was in 08, so a little after his time. Yeah, no, that's what I would call typical, you know, previous generation age, unless there was a huge gap. Like say for the next generation with my family, my sister, one of my sisters-in-law is 20. So a good bit younger than us, and she's still in the same generation. So unless there is and you know, she's 15 years younger than her sister, my wife. So unless there is a big gap like that, that's typical. For him to be 50 and us in, you know, close to our 30s or whatnot, or around our 30s. Oh, okay. So you take the cup. Wow, okay. That is pretty interesting, man. Makes for some interesting family dynamics. And it's just, again, I don't know if I want to say something. I say not implying anything. Just seeing how with my sister-in-law, how she, you know, she has this type of personality where she's very extroverted and outspoken, and that's probably attributed to being the youngest, right, in that half generation of everyone, and having all eyes on you, kind of thing. So it's it makes for an interesting family dynamic. Hey Hadisai, how are you, man? Thank you for joining. We're doing a little bit of coding. Glad to hear you're doing well. We're doing a little bit of coding, and then I have a couple of friends who jumped on stream, so we're catching up and chatting. So a little bit of everything. And as far as the coding goes, for a few of you may not have seen it in action, I have bugs in my code, so it's not gonna run, but I can run the previous version and show you what I'm up to. So I just have a little camera, which I guess this one doesn't do it a whole lot of justice. If I do test CV, test contours, new. Test this. I have a little camera. That's not it. That's trying to do a little bit of object tracking, as you saw in that demo of Charlie Chaplin walking around. It's kind of funny. Yes, this is probably the easiest way. I have an Intel RealSense connected to a Raspberry Pi. This is my little setup, which looks not very well organized, but I'm just trying to get images out of the camera. I can also get depth information from the camera. I think I'm just gonna use images for now. So this is the depth represented as color, the distance that an object is from the camera. So as you can see on the little scale on the right, as I switch screens, there we go. Oh no, man. My bug is written with code. That might be the best statement I inadvertently came up with. So it's not that my code is written with bugs, it's like my bugs are written with code, right? But anyway, I'm playing around with this thing for a project I'm doing. But just initially, I'm just gonna use it as a regular camera. As you can see on screen, like a webcam. I'm doing some object detection with it. See how it goes. But trying to detect some hands in front of it. Not only a hand, but a little glove for a project I'm doing. And now that I'm streaming more regularly, once the project is done, I'll give all of you a link to check it out. So how to do voice recognition with Python. Very sort of simple, I don't want to call it simple, popular way that I've seen these days is running something like Alexa, which are, the Amazon personal assistant, voice assistant, or the Hey Google, the equivalent, whatever they call it on the Google side. You run their software on the Raspberry Pi, you plug in a microphone either over USB, or if you want to get fancier, you can do it through, remember that it doesn't have analog to digital channels, but you can do it through the audio jack on the Raspberry Pi itself. And yeah, you run that software and then it does speech recognition right off the bat. You don't have to code it. If you wanna, that's one option. If you wanna do it just raw, like just get an audio clip and run your own lines of code that parse that audio, then I can get back to you. I don't know any libraries off the top of my head. Yeah, no, I'd be curious as well. Just, I have it on my back burner, actually, just to show you I'm not lying. This is a little board by Sid Studio that has those microphone inputs for doing speech recognition, but my project for the channel is going to be one of those that I'm probably going to run Alexa. And it's like, Alexa, turn on the LEDs, and I'll have a few LEDs light up by the Raspberry Pi just to demonstrate how that works. But I'd be curious if you find a library, just drop me a comment on that video or on the community part section of the website of the YouTube website channel. So yeah, man. And actually, let me post this that I haven't done. Following my friend's examples, I started a Discord chat group to keep track of things like what you're asking me. Sometimes people in the community, hey, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? that's just a centralized way of putting that information, and that way it's accessible for everyone. So I'll post the link on the chat here, and then just that will take you to a Discord server where you can sign up. You can just join, you don't have to sign up or anything. You have to create an account, obviously, but it's just for chatting purposes and asking questions or whatnot. Again, you know, you can just comment on the videos, hop on a live stream, whatever works for you. Oh, okay. I'm completely new to Discord, so yeah. I knew of its existence. I know like of Slack, but given that I don't work on a traditional environment, I'm self-employed, and for the most part, I just do things myself. I had no use for it until now. Like I should have probably started it as a tool for the community a long time ago, but I was a little apprehensive. It's like, yeah, who's gonna want to use this? But I'm glad it works. Let's see. So facial recognition, PyPy. All right. Just because PyPy is one of the sites with the repositories for all the pip installs, but cool. It didn't work for you. I've been reading a little bit about the facial recognition, and yeah, there is, you know, so many possibilities. Right now, you can take it a little bit further and have the whole the neural networks running and doing some deep learning stuff. So, but that goes beyond just importing a simple module and, you know, calling a method like recognize face on this image. But even then, like I've run into some information where you download all these models from people, and without running things like PyTorch or TensorFlow, you can do some face detection. Yeah, for this project I'm using OpenCV, so that's why I'm doing hand detection, but it's just object detection. There's no particular feature about a hand that I'm using. And when I'm doing my Google searches for, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? I've come across a couple of examples for face detection for using libraries that run, you know, together with OpenCV. So I think you should revisit that project. And as usual, if you want something to just get started, I'll post this code. I can post it right now. One of the tricky thing is that I'm using a different camera, but that's easy to replace if you wanted to use a webcam. It's catered towards doing object detection on this Intel RealSense camera. But I don't think that's gonna get you anywhere close up for detecting a face, but I'm always happy to share. All right. So, go P. Put this in a function later, but I want to test things out. DRG. That. All right. I want to do this part minus All right, Brian, as always, man, a pleasure talking to you. I will catch you in any digital medium a little later. Thanks for stopping by. Really appreciate it. Hey, Rudolph. Oh, thanks. Sure. Nice. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. And again, if you read the description of each of my live streams, I always welcome feedback to make it better. So, thanks. I'll get on that. And in fact, I'll do it live now, so I don't forget. Let's see the sausage making details, as they say. So, wanna do? Yeah, I can even turn off the avatar, but because right, I have a bit of an accent, it's easier if I am on camera because people can look at my lips and make a little more sense. But yeah, I can definitely move it without a problem. Appreciate the suggestion because I was like, where should I put it? And I see that I tend to code on the bottom part of the page, so top right should be good. And, awesome, thanks. What can frame? Top right. Make it a tiny bit smaller. All right. Probably fiddle with it a little bit more later. And when I say later, I mean now. Cool. Thanks. Appreciate the feedback. That was another discussion we had a couple of days ago on the music, and you know, I always err on the super safe side for copyright infringement. So I just went on the YouTube audio library and downloaded whatever they have available. I can show you, and it's not necessarily the greatest thing to for searching. You can like parse by mood and a few other things. But what I ended up doing, so YouTube has a free library. Anybody can use it. Like if you're creating some content and you need music for it that is copyright free, then you can just go on their audio library that I just pasted on the chat. But anyway, as you can imagine, it's pretty tough finding things that are good, or particularly with so many people jumping on the live stream. So I going on that audio library collection and finding the best one. So that's what's currently playing right now. I take requests and I'll try to find genres for different people. I know there was a request for classical the other day when we were chatting about it, and then I downloaded a bunch of classical songs that I also like, right? sort of ambient acoustic music with a little piano. Then if you've seen some of my videos, for whatever reason, I like American folk music. Not hardcore country, but folk music, a little bit of country as well. So I have a playlist for that. And then there's another one that was like top songs and a little bit of dance and a little bit of punk. So yeah, different libraries for different tastes. And I can barely hear it, just because of reasons of my setup. So if at any point anybody gets bored with the music, let me know and I'll be happy to change it. Yeah, gotta avoid the copyrights. I'm glad you think so, Rudolph. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of music myself, but when I'm making the videos, at least it needs to, you know, form part of the story. I don't know how to say that. It makes my video editing a lot easier. Like the first thing I do when I go edit the videos is choose the song, and then I'll cut the video and try to make little transitions and at the beat of the music, like I enjoy that. And it makes for my editing it makes it easy for me to sit there for a couple of hours editing a video. Yeah, I'm glad at least some of you appreciate it. And then yeah, I can look into that as well. For the channel, I use this service called Epidemic Sound, where it's a subscription model. And again, you don't get access to hit songs or pop songs that are out there, but they do have quite the collection. And they do pay the authors or whatever, so it's not completely copyright free, but they deal with it. And that's the songs that I use for my videos come from this place. And I know a lot of creators use it. I just saw one creator recommended it or told people that's what she used, and I started using it, and I've seen it more and more, even with like big YouTubers. All right, nice chatting with you as well, Rudolph. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, thanks. I'll try to make this coding a happy experience. Have a good day. Good afternoon over there in awesome South Africa. Hi, Ravinder. How are you? graphic. So font. This guy is bigger. I'm gonna have to scale 4. See how that looks like. Alright, it's a lot better. Maybe a little more. it's working, but obviously I gotta fix the timer so that it's a little less jumpy. I know why that is. Just there we go. So that's how it should look like every time. I think for the most part it's just a display thing rather than it not working. I probably just want to display that a little lower and to the left. Pretty close to calling it a, not necessarily a day, but good enough for right now. Line below. See how that looks like now. I want to move the timer to the left as well. So timer to the left. Let's call it some 20 pixels. That blue a little lighter. A little bit lower at this guy. Font scale, a little bit bigger. A lot more filled. Left. Let's see how that looks like. Bunch of fender and body work now. Just make it pretty. Yeah, I want to make the blue a little lighter too. Forgot. Hi, how are you? Good to see you as well. Glad that you're doing okay. Trying to finish up a little bit of coding. So fun times. Then if I do this, hopefully 28 times is a lot. Can we do it? Nope. That's a lot. Alright. Let's see. 12. I can have 12. Nope. Yeah, gotta work on the refresh rate. No. Alright, this is a lot harder than it looks. That's not even detecting now. The heck. Alright. Get a little bit slower for testing purposes. See if I can actually get the message of success. And I'll call it at that point. So difficulty. Oh man, awesome. I'm so happy I started doing the live streaming because it gives up people a chance to comment on the videos, both the good and the bad, and saying what they like, what they don't like. So I'm happy this gives me an opportunity and people watching the videos to interact more or less in real time. So thank you. I'm glad you're one of the people who actually like the videos, but I'm happy that we get the chance to do it, instead of me reading a comment 2 weeks from now, just do it in real time. So yeah, thanks for stopping by the live stream, and I'm really happy you find the content useful. So, thank you for letting me know. Alright, even that I can make. Alright. Oh no, that's too many. I'm gonna do the first one of 14 and take it seriously. Also, it's kind of weird that it's a random number, but it always starts. I guess I'm sitting in with the same number, but Gotta dig into that. A little bit farther. Nah, it's not gonna work. Definitely don't want to do 28. Let's see. Just gonna set this to just give myself more time. And don't want to fix anything about this. A little bit thicker. What the heck? All right, come on. All right. Well, something like that. Success message was terrible. It's like huge. Well, I gotta figure out what's going on with the display first. I guess 10 is too much, but this is not the scale. That's kind of weird. Probably just drew it somewhere weird. Alright, I think that's good enough for today. So, or for right now, I'm gonna go out for a little run before people start heading out. It's already a little bit late, but I was having way too much fun with getting this to work. So thank you for those of you who are still around or watching this later. And if you already left, I also thank for people who stopped by. So I'll be streaming pretty often. I don't want to set a schedule just yet, but pretty much every day around this time, feel free to stop by and try to say hello. All right, until the next one.